You know, Deputy President, the interesting bit is that you're revealing information, but halfway. You've just now revealed there's a cabinet secretary who hosted a meeting in Kitisuru. Who hosted the other meetings? Who organized them?
Some have told you. You have seen the meetings yourself. I've just told you what was being discussed inside those meetings. I'm giving you info on what was going on. You are aware of the meetings.
The only meeting I know about is of the members of parliament that came out and said that their leader is now...
That was not the real issue. No, the real issue is what I'm telling you about.
In that meeting, it was discussed that they were going to be...
The one that was held the whole night in Nyahururu. The whole night, that was what came out is not the real issue. The one of dividing the mountain into two, the one of looking for another leader, that was not the issue. The issue is how you can force our deputy president out of office. You know, that was the issue. It was the real issue that was being discussed in that meeting. And people know, and they reported to us, many people, most of them were coerced into that meeting. They were intimidated in that meeting. In fact, in the photograph, there were only 28. There were 35. And 7 of them ran away because they didn't want to be photographed. The others were said to be 48. The balance from 35 minus 48, I think is about 15, were not even there. And most of them, the Honorable Mother Wangari, denied that she had not participated. The Honorable Munyoro, the MP for Kegumo, wrote a letter saying he was not part of it. There was a lot of coercion, there was a lot of intimidation, there was a lot of bribery.
Coercion from who?
For those who have the capacity to coerce.
Who are those? Pressurize. You can describe them without naming.
You know them.
I don't know.
Well,
Deputy President.
You live, you get Sam, you're an adult. You have been around for a long time.
I can confirm I am, yes. But I don't have that information.
No,
you do.
You'll find out with the time.
And as these conversations are going, because you're saying that there are people who are refusing that they were part of that meeting, there are those that accuse you that you bully people, that you don't listen to the people. In your own county, home county that is Nyeri, I think most of the members of parliament, if not all, have stepped away from you. Why is this?
I don't bully anybody. I'm just truthful. I ask members of parliament.
Let's unpack that. What does truthful mean?
I just ask the members of parliament to listen to the people, to listen to the ground. They call that bullying. It's not bullying. It's just being truthful. You know, people don't want to be told the truth. We have a problem with this country. People want to live a lie. Those members of parliament from my county are very good people. But they had a lot of coercion and intimidation. But it doesn't really matter. What matters is that the Nyeri people, I was here the other day, are with me. 44 members of the county assembly are with me. The governor of Nyeri is with me. If the MPs want to be intimidated and be coerced to seem to fight me, that's up to them. They have a date with the people of Nyeri in the fullness of time. And I'm really not bothered by
there are reports that, Mr. Deputy President, you're working with opponents of sitting members of parliament to decampaign them ahead of the 2027 election.
I am not working with any opponent of anybody. What happens, Sam, is that nature abhors vacuum. If I go to a meeting and a member of parliament doesn't turn up, another character who is interested in leadership turns up, you cannot chase him away. I am a people's person. Nature abhors vacuum. I have no candidate. I have no candidate. I have not looked for anybody to campaign anybody. What I cannot do, for sure, when I go around the country, I cannot stop Kenyans to accompany me to wherever I am going. If a member of parliament is there, he or she is given a chance to say hello. If he is not there and there is somebody else who wants to say hello, they are allowed to say hello. That's the way it goes.
Yet, some of them claim that you're forcing them to attend meetings.
I don't force
Case
anybody.
in point, the member of parliament for Nyeri Town once told me in studio that you had invited him to join you in a meeting, and he excused himself saying he was committed elsewhere, only for you to go and speak ill of him.
I have no capacity to force anybody to attend my meeting. Meetings are voluntary. My meetings are very well attended because I have a huge following. Any clever politician would attend my meeting. If he or she chooses not to attend, I have nothing to do with it, and I don't complain about it. You know, all I say is that if you want to come, my office, as a matter of courtesy, informs every elected leader of my tours around the country. The decision whether to attend or not, or whether to attend or not to attend, is your decision as a leader. And I would not take offense for you not coming, because I have nothing to do with you. You know, I heard somebody saying that that I'm unhappy somebody has not come to accompany me to church. Sam, what you need in church is a priest, the choir, and the congregation, and the service is on. Whether a member of parliament is in church or not, that will never dilute the quality of the service. We go to church to listen to the sermon, to praise and worship. And if the church choir is present, the congregation is present, you know, and in fact the Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered, that's where God is. That's all you need, 2 or 3. I don't think I have any issue with anybody attending my meeting or not attending. I am not bothered, really.
Okay. You're not bothered, you say. Yet, if, as you say, that there are plans to impeach you, if an impeachment motion makes its way to Parliament, you will need members of Parliament to make a case for you, because it is them that vote.
That is their decision, Sam. My position is very, very clear. I was elected by the people of Kenya. Okay? It is the people of Kenya who will confirm whether I'm working well or not. But if members of Parliament...
How would they decide?
If members of Parliament are persuaded, intimidated, coerced to remove me from office, so be it. The matter is there. It's that simple. There are no issues. One, I have no capacity to coerce any member of Parliament. I have no capacity to intimidate any member of Parliament. I have no money to bribe any member of Parliament. If members of Parliament want to impeach Deputy President Gachagua, so be it. If they have issues with him that are constitutional, that meets the threshold, and they want to go ahead and send him home for whatever crimes he has committed, there's nothing Gachagua can do about it. That is their purview.
Yet, Deputy President, including the meeting that you're attending today in the city, some of the members of Parliament you're working with were saying that we have seen the dog, now we want to see the owner of the dog. What does that mean?
You can ask the ones who made those
It has been repeated in several meetings that you attend.
I did not make those statements. Those are questions you can ask those who made
Are you
statement.
concerned that such kind of language is being used in your presence?
Well, all kinds of languages I've used in many meetings, including where I am personally abused. And that is what is happening. The country is in that mood of abuses, of tough talk, of campaigning, and there's nothing I can do. I have not started it.
Does it bother you?
It bothers me a lot.
So what are you going to do about it?
Well, it's up to our boss to decide what should be done, because he is our party leader. He can call a PG and bring down the political temperatures, tell the members of Parliament to stop attacking each other, ask those who accompany him who abuse the Deputy President to stop, because if he told them to stop, they'll stop. Ask them to stop these night meetings. If he told them to stop, they'll stop.
By your boss, you mean the President?
Yeah. If he did, they'll stop. It's really him to provide leadership so that the country can go back to work. We have many challenges as a country. We have promises that we give to the people of Kenya. We have stored projects that needs to be completed. We have pending bills over 900 billion that we need to pay. We have housing program. We have health issues. We have issues of business. It is unfortunate that the country has been put in an election mood. You know, people are just talking about politics, how they'll impeach so-and-so, how so-and-so is useless, others are calling us snakes. There are all sorts of things that are going on. It's really upon the President of the Republic of Kenya, who is also our party leader, to put his house in order.
What responsibility do you take for what's going on?
Well, I have no responsibility, because my team answers to what is going on, because we are also politicians, and if there is an onslaught against the Deputy President, he too has people who support him. If you abuse him in meetings, the team that supports him will also answer. That's what happens. because they cannot just keep quiet. So it's upon our boss, President William Ruto, to call his house to order.
Have you spoken to the president?
Yes, I've talked to the president several times.
And
I've asked him to call his house to order. Yeah, he's here to do it, and I trust he'll do it, because the atmosphere we are having, the environment we are having in the country is toxic. Kenyans are very unhappy about what is going on. How can people be meeting possibly at this time to discuss how to impeach a deputy president when the country needs a lot of work to be done, when we have roads that have stalled for years, when we have people who cannot pay hospital bills, when we have challenges of water, when we have issues of a good business environment? How insensitive can we be to the Kenyan public that we can sit to discuss on how to dispose of a deputy president who is in office, when there are very many issues of very great concern to the people of Kenya? I would rather, if it were possible, all of us to agree to go back to factory settings and be very fair to the people of Kenya. We were just elected 2 years ago. We have not delivered on the promises that we give the people of Kenya. Yet we are back there now saying so and so is bad, talking about 2027. Even some people had started talking about 2032. People are looking for running mates. People are saying Gachagua will not be this, so and so will be this, so and so can join with the so and so. I mean, it's very unfair to the people of Kenya. It's extremely insensitive. And I would rather, if it is possible, our boss, President William Ruto, to call his house to order.
Okay.
Because if he called his house to order very decisively, this house will get into order and people can go back to work and everybody can do his work. Everybody has our work is well spread out. The president has his job to do. I have a job to assist him to deliver on the mandate. Members of parliament have work to do in terms of legislation and oversight. Governors have work to do in terms of running the counties. Everybody has work to do. Okay. We have just come from an election.
Right.
Kenyans are very irritated by what is going on. It's really not fair to the people of Kenya.
And Deputy President, you're saying you'd rather if it were possible. For how long have you been trying to speak to the president to put the house in order?
I don't want to go into the issue of discussing my boss, the president. But I have told you, I've raised the matter with him. I would rather we leave it there. I believe in the fullness of time, he'll appraise himself on the situation that is in the country.
But you also expressed doubt when you say you'd rather if it were possible.
Yeah. I have asked him to put his house in order. So I believe he'll put his house in order, because what is going on is not sustainable. It is not right. It is very insulting to the people of Kenya, really, to get the country into the kind of toxic politics that is going on, the kind of insults on the altar that are going on, the kind of disrespect to the deputy president who is elected by the people of Kenya, in front of the president, in front of the churchgoers. What is going on is very, very unhealthy. It is not right, and it should come to an end.
Okay. And as you say that, so how is your relationship with the president?
My relationship with the president is okay. We have got a good working relationship.
What does that mean?
We work well.
But you're asking him to do something because your career is on the line here, and it's not happening.
My career is not on the line. By the way, Sam, those things don't bother me. I'm a very simple guy. I just came here the other day. For 57 years, I was there doing well. If today members of parliament and senate decided that I go home, my home is a few meters from here. My clothes here will not even fit in a pickup. I just take and leave. It's not that. It's about the people of Kenya. It's not about impeaching Rigathi Gachagua.
If your relationship
is what it will do to the country in terms of political stability. This is a deputy president who is elected by 7.2 billion Kenyans, who has a following of one kind or another, and who have some people who believe in him. And we are having a country that is having challenges economically. We're having people feeling low, feeling down. And then you want to come and poison the political atmosphere. I don't think anybody wants to go into that direction. But if that's the direction whoever is arranging wants to go, so be it. There's nothing I can do. The matter is beyond my purview. You know, let whoever wants to go ahead with it, go ahead with it. All we are doing ourselves is we'll inform the people of what is going on. And that I will do, by the way, because I have a responsibility also. You know, I'm elected. And going forward in the next few weeks, I'll be talking to my supporters and telling them what's going on, what is being planned, what is likely to happen, so that they are aware. You see, we are elected by the people. We have a responsibility to always inform your employer what is going on, so that they know, so that they are aware of what is going on, because people wonder what is going on. We have a responsibility as leaders to inform the people, because they are the ones who have given us this job. I was not given these jobs by the president. I was not given by members of parliament. The president nominated me and proposed to me for confirmation by the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya, by a popular vote, confirmed President William Ruto's nominee, Gachagua, as the right person for the job.
Right.
But the people who gave me this job are the people of Kenya. And therefore, if there are issues along the way that I find disturbing, that I find that they can cause political instability in this country, that I find they can be intrusive, and they can disrupt our development agenda, they can disrupt our political stability as a country, I have a responsibility to go to the people who voted for me and explain to them exactly what is happening. And that I'll do. And I have started today, and I'll be doing that along the way, because I am answerable to some people. I cannot just sit here in Karen. Meetings are going on at night. You know, people are being intimidated. People are being coerced, you know, to disrupt, you know, my term, to stop me from doing my work. And I just sit here. I cannot. I'll go to the people and say, good people, you gave me the job. Are you happy with what I've done so far? Yes or no? Okay. If you have a problem you want me to correct, but my people, this is what is being planned. And it is so and so who is planning it. So when you see it happen, please know this is what is going on.
Deputy President, I take note that you keep going back to that conversation about the meetings and the plans that are being made. Do you think the President knows about those meetings?
Well, I don't know whether he knows, but many people in those meetings quote him, but he's not there. So I have no confirmation.
How do you know they quote him?
No, it is reported to me. They say they invoke his name, that he is the one who has authorized those meetings. But since he's not in those meetings, I cannot accuse him. But the truth of the matter is, the way we work as UDA, as Kenya Kwanza, any motion of impeachment in the National Assembly to remove the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya will never find its way to the House unless the President approves. That's the way we work. Any contentious issue that comes to the National Assembly, the finance bill, this and that, the President will call a PG and say, this is our agenda, can you go and prosecute it? So, even as people are planning, if that motion will ever find itself to the House, it will have to get the approval of President William Ruto. So it will be his motion, because he'll have to approve it. So since we have not reached there, I don't want us to say anything about it. Okay. But that is the truth, because we have a way we work. That is a very heavy matter. It is not a matter that can be taken to the floor of the House unless the President has given a nod. And
on that specific matter of alleged impeachment, have you spoken to the President about it?
I spoke to him once, and he said he has not heard about it, and he doesn't know about it, and according to him, he said it's foolish, and nobody can try something like that because it can destabilize the country. That's what he told me in his own words. And thereafter, there was a meeting. He called members of parliament, and the matter stepped down. The matter has come up again. I have not asked him again. When I get an opportunity, when he comes back, I'll raise the matter again with him. I will say, Mr. President, a meeting was held here, this was said. A meeting was held here, this was said. What do you have to say about it? Mr. President, do you want us to destabilize this country? Are you part of it? What they are saying, the President will pronounce himself on the matter. But I want to say that there is no motion of impeachment against the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya that can find itself on the floor of the House unless the President of the Republic of Kenya gives a nod.
Okay.
And again, even if it was to go there, nobody else has the capacity to push it through. It's only the President himself. There is nobody else who can. Getting 233 members of parliament, it's only him who can push it through. But that's another discussion for another day.
Don't you think that's a problem? Because the Constitution of Kenya has separation of powers between the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. Are you admitting that parliament is controlled by the president?
What I'm saying in Mata Kenya Kwanza, UDA, serious contentious decisions are agreed in a PG convened by the president. You saw the finance bill, he's the one who was driving it. So that tells you the way our PG works. Anything contentious, anything with serious national implications will have to get the nod of the president.
Your team has been recently kicked out or removed from the diarization of events between your office and the office of the president?
Yes, that is true. And my reading of it, there is some mischief. First, let me tell you some. I am a very obedient public officer. I was a man in uniform, and I have tremendous respect for the president and his office. And I will be the last person not to attend events by the president or to go late. And from the way I read it, there is some mischief to remove me from the diary, from the page where the diary is, so that once I don't attend presidential events, it can be purported that I am absconding duty. You know, and I hear that is one of the grounds they wanted to look for impeachment, you know, so that they say regarding Gachagua does not attend presidential functions. Or again, sometimes they want me to get late so that it appears like I'm disrespectful. Mm-hmm. I want to ask the people who work around the presidency not to create conflict between the president and myself. I'm the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, elected by the people. And I am the principal assistant of the president. It is only right and fair that I have access to the presidential diary so that I align my diary with his diary because he's the boss. But if I'm in the dark and I don't know what is happening, I am not an angel to know exactly where the president will be at what time, then it's not right. So if Kenyans don't see me in a presidential function, I want to tell them today it's because I am not aware of the function. And the function they see me in is the one I have been invited. But previously, I had access to the diary, and without even talking to the president or even to the controller, I would align my diary with his, because his takes precedence over mine because he's the boss. You know? Now, it becomes very difficult for me even now to work on my diary, because I don't know what the president has. So it has really even made my work very complicated, because I am just there, not knowing what the president has. So I am not able to arrange my events, you know, going forward. But what I'll do, I'll talk to the president at the right time, and I'll see what is the problem. Okay. I don't think the president, in my view, will be petty to ask anybody to remove from the diary. I think it's just some handlers around the presidency who want just to create mischief, to portray me as somebody who is disrespectful, and to portray me as somebody who is absconding duty. I am a workaholic, and everybody knows, including the president. I'm available for duty. I'm available to assist the president 24/7. Right. But work needs to be made, you know, straight, so that we are able to work properly, so that I align my diary with his, and I'm able to assist him as it is supposed to be. All right.
Who is the custodian of that diary?
There is a page with everybody there. There's head of public service, there's the president himself, there is a controller of state houses, a deputy chief of staff, there was me, there was my chief of staff, there was my private secretary, there are security people, the people really who handle the president and myself were in that page. And you know, we even share.
What do you mean with the page?
No, they are the ones who handle the president's issues, his movement, you know, hospitality people, security people, on that page. So that once his activities are known, everybody aligns automatically, and there has been a lot of efficiency because you have the information so that you are able to plan, you are able to coordinate. If you are flying, you know you are going by chopper, you prepare. If you are going by road, you know. But when you don't have that information, then it becomes extremely difficult for my office to align with the president's office.
Help Kenyans understand. So this diary, is it a physical book? Is
No, it's a WhatsApp group. It's a WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp group.
It's every day, you know, things now are good with this digital space. It's a WhatsApp group, and it's updated as you go on. And the president updates it sometimes himself, the controller does, and we all keep on aligning. So, you know, sometimes he'll have a program, he'll move it from this day to that day. I get into my diary and change mine and align with his. You understand? So
your team is no longer in that?
No, I myself, I was removed. My private secretary was removed. My chief of staff was removed. So we have no access to the president's diary.
Who removed you?
The private secretary to the president.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's called Mayo. I will show you. I was looking for my phone. I wanted to show you. He removed me. So once we are not there, then we don't know what's going on. So let nobody, let no Kenyan, and let those people in State House who are trying to say that I don't attend meetings, let them return me in the page so that I know what the president is doing, where he's going, what time, so that I'm able to align and give him support, as I've always been doing. But I cannot do it when I don't have access to that information.
Does the president know you're no longer in the WhatsApp group?
I don't know. I've not asked him.
You haven't?
No.
And it's been how long? You said a week?
I think it's about a week.
About a week?
About a week.
And you haven't spoken to him about it?
No, I've not spoken to him about it. To be truthful, initially I thought it's a little bit petty.
Okay.
But now that the matter has been raised, and I have seen Kenyans have been asking, and I have seen some mischievous bloggers in State House trying to insinuate that I'm absconding duty, I have decided to give this information to the people of Kenya in the spirit of the truthful man, a man who speaks the truth, so that the people of Kenya know exactly why I'm not in those functions. I think I owe Kenyans the truth, because again, as I told you, Sam, I'm employed by the people of Kenya. They need to know why is the deputy president whom they elected not alongside the president in the functions. I think we owe that information to the people of Kenya.
And do you know why you would be removed?
I don't know, but I have told you there are mischievous people around the president.
Why are they mischievous against you, Deputy President?
Well, I don't know. How do you explain mischief? People have many motives. People have many motives. They are mischievous people trying to create a wedge between me and the president. And it's been going on for a while. And I take it in stride myself, because I'm also an elder, and I'm also an officer, you know, who is well trained. I was trained in paramilitary. I have tremendous capacity for perseverance and endurance. I'm able to take a lot of flack, just quiet, and taking it in good tiding, because I am quite mature in my leadership, in my approach to life. And many, many petty things, I have ignored them, because I sometimes I don't want to become petty. So there are many characters around there. You know, you remember, Sam, when the king was here, in State House, the King Charles the Third. I think I was the president had sent me, I think, to Berlin or to Brussels. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly to which country. And so when the king was in State House, I was missing. Okay? A blogger who works for the president created a Photoshop. And I know you can remember, just for mischief and to demean me, created a Photoshop that, you know, the king is here, working with the president. Then there was a window there, and Rigathi Gachagua had been locked in that window, and he actually circulated on his blog until Kenyans complained, then he brought it down, just to demean the deputy president. And these are people who work for the president. And you wonder why. How come you work for the president? You want to demean his deputy. And I told them, I raised it with them, the head of communication. I said, you think you are demeaning the deputy president? You are not. You are demeaning the president. If there is a perception that the president has locked his deputy in a room somewhere so that the king does not see him, who looks bad in this situation? It's the president who looks bad. So there are many people around the president who are very petty, who are full of mischief, and who are hell-bent on creating conflict within the presidency. I would like to ask the people who work for the president to be honorable and decent people. Let the deputy president have access to the president's diary, unless the president himself has expressly given instructions that he doesn't want his deputy to have access to his diary. If that is the case, I'll accept it.
Is it a possibility?
I don't think it's a possibility. Okay. I don't think President William Ruto would go that down. But if then I am not reinstated, now that I have brought it in the public and the president will know about it. Yes. If I'm not reinstated, then it follows. It is clear. And then the instructions.
That says a lot about your relationship with the president. You just said that because you've raised it in the public, now the president will know about it. What happened to the two of you?
I don't know.
You were very happy on the day of inauguration. In the weeks before the election, you were very happy moving around the country.
Know. Looking at it, I am not a mystical person. I'm a Christian and a very true believer. But I think it looks like there is a jinx around this office of the deputy president. And President William Ruto had a very rough time with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. Right. But luckily for him, he had 5 years to work, and work very well without any disturbance. President William Ruto gave a promise, a commitment to the people of Kenya. When he was complaining the way he was persecuted, he was mistreated, he was demeaned, he was harassed, he gave a commitment to the people of Kenya that under his watch, if they elect him as president, his deputy will never be demeaned, his deputy will never be harassed, his deputy will never be persecuted, his deputy will never be disrespected, and his deputy will be facilitated to work and work well. For the first year, that happened, and I'm grateful to him because he did not allow anybody to disrespect me. He did not allow anybody to interfere with my work. But the second year, I must tell you, that is happening. You know, cabinet ministers have been abusing the deputy president. Just the way it was happening during the time of Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember Tobiko called President William Ruto a clerk. Matiang'i wrote him a message, I called him an idiot. And people disrespected him, people were intimidated, people were harassed. And President William Ruto made a commitment to the people of Kenya that if he is elected president, it will never happen that his deputy will be disrespected. Today, the deputy president is abused by people hugging on his car, and the president is quiet. Cabinet ministers have been abusing the deputy president is quiet. The president has given many promises to the people of Kenya. Some of them he has not been able to fulfill them because of the difficult economic situations that we are in, and it's understandable. But there's one promise he gave to the people of Kenya that requires no finance. It requires nothing. It requires him to be a gentleman and keep that promise. The promise he gave the people of Kenya, that under his presidency, his deputy will not be abused, his deputy will not be disrespected, his deputy will not be intimidated, his deputy will not be persecuted, his deputy will not be harassed. That, I think, the president, my boss, owes that to the people of Kenya to honor that promise.
Now, what was your role in the formation of the broad-based government?
My role was very simple, agreeing to the proposal by the president. President William Ruto sat me down and told me that he had made a decision that he needed to bring in other people so that we stabilize government and we bring everybody and we make everybody feel part of Kenya, and I was agreeable. And I told the president, if that is the intention, and to make our country move forward, improve the lives of our people, I'm agreeable. And I accepted 100%. And I support the broad-based government. I support the decision by the president. I embrace the people who joined us, and I am working well with them, and will continue working with them. What causes confusion is many people asking me, how is it that the president called for broad-based government to bring in everybody so that we have one cohesive country, so that everybody is part of it, yet people are planning to remove others? How does it work?
Right.
That we have brought in ODM people to come and join us, yeah? And then we are saying, now that we have brought these ones, now we have the numbers to chase this one. Then the whole thing would not have been very genuine. If that is the case, it doesn't look then genuine, because I am told they are saying they didn't have the numbers to remove Rigathi Gachagua. Now that Raila Odinga has come on board, they can use his members of parliament to join and kick Rigathi Gachagua out. Then that would defeat the purpose of the broad-based government. But from what the president told me, and I believed him, is that we are bringing these people so that we have one country that is cohesive and we carry everybody along. And it made sense to me.
Do you still
and
believe
I'm still persuaded that is the way to go.
Okay.
But from what I am hearing from these characters, for the meetings that they hold, and there are people very close to the president, is that the purpose of the broad-based government was to get numbers so that they can get the numbers from ODM, join the ones from Kenya Kwanza to chase Rigathi Gachagua away. If that was the intention of the broad-based government, then that would have been the deception of the highest order. And I don't think people would ever forgive the president if that was the intention.
Deputy
You know,
President,
and I don't think,
Yeah.
from what he has explained to me, and I'm persuaded that he meant well for the country, and I'm in support of the whole thing. But if it turns out that the purpose of the broad-based government was to get numbers from ODM to join and put them together with the UDA to impeach the deputy president, then the whole broad-based government would have been a deception. It would have been a con.
have you seen the formal agreement between the president and Raila Odinga?
No, I trust the president. And many times, and many people accuse me of being a bit reckless. I am a very trusting person, because when you are trusting, you trust others. The president gave me his word, and I was happy. And if there was any written agreement, I'm not aware of it. I took his word that we need to bring these people so that we work together to make our country move forward. By the way, Sam, so trusting is Rigathi Gachagua and his people from the Mount Kenya region, that in the whole of this matrix, we are the only people without a written agreement with President William Ruto. We just agreed as gentlemen. I can tell you, when Musalia Mudavadi came to join President William Ruto, they have an MOU. With Moses Wetangula, they have an MOU. Jefferson Kingi, they have an MOU. Alfred Mutua, they have an MOU. Everybody wrote an MOU with President William Ruto. I and the people of the mountain, because we are very trusting people, we trusted President William Ruto, and we agreed to move in one party. We did not even form our own party to begin with or to negotiate with him. We accepted him because we believed and trusted him. And we moved together on trust. And what we agreed is what we are proceeding on. So I have never asked the president for any written document or anything. I always take his word for it, because I'm trusting, so I also trust.
Do you regret that decision?
I don't regret the decision, but I have heard many of our supporters saying that it was an indiscretion on my part. I have not yet interrogated whether it was an indiscretion on my part or not. But many of our people, many of our supporters from the Mount Kenya region think that there was an indiscretion on my part. But I want to say I think I did the right thing, because trust is very important. And we gave President William our trust. We expect him to reciprocate that trust.
Okay.
And one of the ways for him to win our trust is to stop the humiliation of the deputy president.
Okay. Deputy President, I think you've made that a point quite clearly. But tell me, even as you move ahead to now manage the broad-based government. You're out of the president's diary. You're not getting communication on the events he's holding. How then do you even coordinate the cabinet committees yourself? Have you chaired the committees since the reconstitution of the cabinet?
No, I have not. I chair cabinet committees, and we used to have 6 cabinet committees. We have collapsed them into 2. We had a cabinet meeting, I think, on Tuesday, and we agreed we have 2 committees, one on governance, one on production, and I'll be chairing those committees unless advised otherwise. And those committees have been very good, Sam, and part of the work that I've done for this country and for the president. I've held 35 cabinet committees since we were sworn in, and we have prosecuted.
You said how many?
35.
35.
Cabinet committees, and we have prosecuted 333 agenda items. And what those cabinet committees do, they are very, very thorough and very, very interactive and very, very exhaustive, because we even invite PSs, we invite CEOs, we invite technical people, and we do interrogate business of cabinet in a very comprehensive manner, so that by the time we go to the cabinet that is chaired by the president, more or less most of the issues have been agreed on, and the president gives his thinking and he gives his direction, and sometimes he agrees, sometimes he doesn't agree with us, and give it to him. Where he doesn't agree with us, he convinces us and we get convinced. And the president, in my view, did very well to set up the cabinet committees, because the president should be a consumer of finance, because he's a very, very busy person. And the kind of work we do here in cabinet committees, sometimes 6 to 7 hours, will be a bit heavy for the president because of his duties.
What is the reason of
so we
collapsing?
continue,
Yeah.
and those cabinet committees have worked very well.
Okay.
And I am very, very, very clear that we'll continue to have the cabinet committees.
Right.
And we'll be able to look at the CAB memos that have come, and we'll be able to proceed to the cabinet for the final approval.
If they were that effective, were they being reduced from 6 to 2?
No, what happened is that there were 6, and then we were having issues of quorum. And sometimes one member would appear in 3, 4 committees. So it was becoming logistically a nightmare, that this committee is meeting, then you have to go, you have to come back. And I think we agreed in cabinet, and it's a good decision. We reduced them into 2, one to do with governance, it has 11 ministries, the other one to do with production, it has 11 ministries. And I think it will work very well. Okay. And we'll have the first cabinet committee, I think, next week, and we'll be able to process all the agendas that are before us so that we can proceed to the cabinet.
You promised the people, or rather, during the campaigns you used to say that when Raila Odinga came to the government, under the handshake arrangement with President Uhuru Kenyatta, that's when you lost the Jubilee government of second term. And you said you'd never allow Raila Odinga into your government. Now it appears he has quite a hand in it. Yeah. Is that a deal breaker for you?
Well, I look at it differently. Only a fool doesn't change his mind. We had President Uhuru Kenyatta, our 4th president, brought Raila to government and asked us to support Raila Odinga, which we, the people from the Mount Kenya region, were very unhappy about. And we disagreed with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and President William Ruto persuaded us that Raila is the one who has caused problems in government. He persuaded us, and he's a very persuasive leader, and we were persuaded. President William Ruto persuaded us that if we allow Raila Odinga to become president, this country will not move forward. And as a result, we disagreed with President Uhuru Kenyatta and rejected Raila Odinga and gave our vote to President William Ruto. So when we came into office, it was my agreement with President William Ruto that we will not allow Raila into government. But along the way, my boss, President William Ruto, changed his mind. And he is the boss. And in this situation, Sam, we are not in a co-presidency. I'm just a principal assistant to the president. What he says is what carries the day. and I don't argue with him. I may have reservations, and I raise it with them. He persuades me many times. Other times he overrules me. And when I realized that he started having a relationship with Raila Odinga, I slowly gave way, because the boss is always right, you know. And that is why many people say, oh, regarding Gachagua, he had said he has put traps in State House so that Raila Odinga has not come. Yeah, that was my agreement with President William Ruto. But that is not my house. The minute I realize they are meeting, they are interacting, I'm also not a stupid person. And I don't have to be told, you know, in black and white. I relaxed, and I stopped even attacking Raila Odinga, and I let the president have his way. So by the time he decided to bring him into government, I had already formed an opinion that the president wants to work with Raila Odinga, and I was quite happy with it. In any case, my brother and long-time confidant, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had told us that Raila is a good man. President William Ruto convinced us otherwise. And we abandoned our son Uhuru Kenyatta, and we decided to go with President William Ruto. Now President William Ruto has told us exactly what President Uhuru Kenyatta had said, that Raila is a good man, we can work with him. If two presidents says a man is good, who are you to argue with him? So we have said Raila Odinga is a good man, and let's work with him. Let's make him part of our political process, and let us build the country together. And I want to say, myself and my political base, the Mount Kenya region, have no problem whatsoever with Raila Odinga. In fact, what people are saying, and it's very interesting, they are saying a Mount Kenya king does not pronounce himself twice on a matter. Our son, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had pronounced himself on this matter. So that pronouncement carries the day. As we stand today, me and the mountain people are quite happy with Raila Odinga, and we don't have a problem with him whatsoever. And I can tell you, because it's important that I say so, myself and the mountain people feel very bad that we punished Uhuru Kenyatta, we demeaned him, we told him off, we embarrassed him for telling us that Raila Odinga is a good man, and we were very, very brutal with him, and we really hammered him. It has come to our knowledge that it was very unfair, because his crime was to tell us that Raila Odinga is a good man, and we decided that Raila Odinga is a bad man, William Ruto is a good man. Now that President William Ruto has said Raila is a good man, that is why I apologize to Uhuru Kenyatta and his family, and I owed him an apology on behalf of the community, because what he had told us is what the president has told us. We had no business fighting him. We had no business disrespecting him. We had no business humiliating him. Right. So myself and the community, you know, owe Uhuru Kenyatta an apology. And I give that apology on behalf of the community. Okay. You know, and we said, you know, we know, because that's what he had told us. And we were very unfair to him because, so, you know.
Knowing what you know today, would you have made a different decision if you knew that in 2022?
Well, you cannot talk backwards. You know, I can't say what we would have done or not done, but things keeps on changing. Yeah, but now we are saying everybody is good.
You've said that once the king pronounces themselves, the pronouncement stands. Does that mean Uhuru Kenyatta is still the king of the mountain?
Oh, yes, yes. You do know? Uhuru Kenyatta is the undisputed king of the mountain.
And what is your relationship with him?
Good. Brotherly.
When did you do that?
Oh, we talk. You know what happens with our community? We are a very interesting community. We don't fight. We fight very rarely. And when we do, when we realize we fought without a good reason, we patch up.
So when was that?
Oh, yeah.
How many months ago? Which month? Which year?
We've been, when we realized we made a mistake, I'm the one who made the first move of reaching out and apologizing, because really we were unfair to Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, we were very, very unfair. You know, sometime I really feel very bad that I was so brutal on a man who was my great friend, my confidant, my brother, my kinsman. I was so brutal on him. And his crime was only one, saying Raila is a good man. And then the man I said, we don't want Raila Odinga, we want William Ruto. Then he comes and says the same thing. I felt very stupid, you know. In fact, another day, a very senior person abused me at the airport and called me stupid 5 times. And I looked at it, I was very bitter, but I looked at it later at night, and I thought probably he was right. I think I was stupid to fight my own brother, my kinsman, my confidant, for no good reason, for saying another person is a good man. I really regret what I did, and my community does regret, and we are very apologetic to the Kenyatta family. And what happens in my community is a saying that making a mistake is not bad, but repeating is unforgivable. And by the way, let me tell you some. From the experience of my community, myself and the leaders and the whole community fighting Uhuru Kenyatta, our son, a decision has been made by the community. In fact, it's a covenant. Never again shall the people of the mountain ever fight their own.
When was that decision made?
You know, the people, the Meru, the Embu, you know, they just talk slowly. That has been agreed on. And that's why you find when a few leaders are being told to fight regarding Gachagua, they are finding it very difficult, because a decision has already been made.
When?
That, like almost a year ago.
By who?
By the community.
In what forum?
Don't worry.
There are millions.
You don't know our people.
There are millions of people.
Our people don't talk in meetings. They have a way of communicating. That is how they drove the British out of this land, you know, by communicating silently. There is a covenant among the Mount Kenya people that they will never again, ever be confused by anybody, be used by anybody to fight their own leader. They will never do it. And I also want to tell you, for the avoidance of doubt, for those who are trying to divide the Kikuyu, the Meru, and Embu, it's an exercise in futility. Those 3 are one. And finally, they will be one. And, you know, we have seen these things happen during the Azimio campaign. You use a lot of money, you call meetings, you call MCAs, you call people in tents, you give them money, you persuade them, they take your money. Finally, they make a decision. And you see what they did in 2022. I can tell you, this attempt to divide the Kikuyu, the Embu, and the Meru is an exercise in futility. You can spend billions, you can spend money, you can have meetings, night meetings in hotels, in where, in what forums.
Okay.
But finally, the people of the mountain are one, and they will never be divided, and they will not agree. They have made mistakes before, they will not repeat them.
Deputy President, on the 26th of June, 2024, you were in Mombasa, addressing a press conference shortly after the president had spoken, and you were questioning when the rain started beating the government of Kenya Kwanza, the administration of Kenya Kwanza. And you went out to attack Nuruddin Haji, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, accusing him that he should take responsibility of the Gen Z protest that led to what we saw at Parliament on June 25th. What was your role in those protests?
None. My statement in Mombasa is on record. I don't want to delve into it. I pronounced myself. I said what I thought of the situation. And that remains my truth. And anybody can challenge me otherwise. I don't want to delve into that statement because it was a public statement for consumption.
Do you stand with it?
I said what I said.
Do you stand with it?
Have I ever issued another statement countering that one?
You believe the National Intelligence Service is responsible for the protests?
I've said the sum. Please allow me. I don't want to go into the merits and the demerits of that statement. The statement was crystal clear. It was in broad daylight. It is still there. You can interrogate it.
Why would you come out and make such a statement about an officer who sits in the National Security Council, yet you have access to him or even the president?
I have said I made that statement. I don't want to go into it. Please allow me not to go into it. That statement I made in broad daylight. You covered it live. It is still there. You can go and read it and listen to it once more.
But in the spirit of accountability, because it was your statement, and I believe you made it after thorough consideration, and you raised issues to the person of the Director General. You said he should resign. You still believe so?
I have said I talked to that day. Sam, allow me to leave it there. I don't want to go into that matter.
Do you think that your tribulations have something to do with how you conducted yourself during that period?
I don't think so. They did not start then. I told you we just worked well for 1 year, and then all these games and schemes started. They had nothing to do with it. That was my own reading of the situation then, and I talked to the people of Kenya as an elected leader.
When is the last time you attended a meeting of the National Security Council?
Well, National Security Council meetings are top secret. I don't want us to...
I don't want the details.
I don't want us to go into the details.
When is the last time you attended a meeting?
I think earlier this month, I think so.
Earlier this month. Was the NIS Director General in attendance?
Of course it was.
Have you patched up your differences?
No, I don't want to go into the details of the National Security Council. That's a top security organ for this country.
It is not about the National Security Council. I'm asking if you have patched up your relationship with him.
Did I say we have personal differences? I was giving an opinion.
An opinion?
Yeah, on that day.
But you said as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I won't record what I said. I made a public statement as an elected leader of what I thought of the situation.
What responsibility should the administration of Kenya Kwanza take in regard to the lives that have been lost in those protests?
Some I have said that matter, I addressed it comprehensively. Let it rest there.
I'm actually not talking about the statement. I'm talking about the killing of 60 people, at least 60, as reported by the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, KNCHR, which the government is yet to admit about the total number. The last, I think we have from the president, about 40. By the way, how many people died in those protests?
You asked that question to the president. He's the chairman of the National Security Council. I don't want to talk about security matters and operational issues because I am not competent enough to address operational issues in the National Police Service.
You're the deputy president.
I am, but I don't comment on operational issues. I'm a very disciplined deputy president. I know my space.
You don't have information about how many people died?
I am not going to comment on operational issues to do with the National
That's
Police
not an
Service.
operational issue, it's a fact. It's a statement of fact.
It's an operational issue.
The cabinet, in different dispatches, indicated that compensation was going to be given or granted to families that lost their loved ones. What is the progress about that?
You would have to check with the minister who is responsible for the implementation of the cabinet decision. You see, once we have met in cabinet, every line minister takes the responsibility of implementing the cabinet decision. So I don't have the facts because I have not asked for that answer as to how far we have gone with the implementation. I would advise that you seek out the minister.
How important is that matter to you?
Very important.
But you have no information.
Yes, because I have not asked about it.
Why?
I have many things that I need to ask about every day. And when the time comes, we'll get a report. In any case, you are aware we have not had cabinet for a long time. The first cabinet committee, the inaugural committee, met this week. We have not had cabinet meetings for almost 2 months, I think so. So
the last one was, I think, July, early July.
I think so.
Then cabinet was dismissed on July 11.
I think so. For almost 2 months, we have not had cabinet meetings.
So what should we do? What should the country do? Because they're waiting for answers. There was a promise by the president.
You follow up with the minister responsible for that particular docket. Because you see, once cabinet has met and made resolutions of cabinet, it is in cabinet upon the respective cabinet secretary to follow up and implement what the cabinet has decided.
What are your thoughts? Because the Gen Z-led protests were because of the Finance Act of Finance Bill 2024. Why didn't your administration listen to the people, and what responsibility would you take?
You had my statement. The answer is there.
We're here. We're speaking
But
to
I'm
the
saying,
President.
Sam Gituku, I gave a very comprehensive statement in Mombasa.
And he doesn't
about
have to
what I
repeat it.
felt. I still feel the same way.
That?
Yeah.
That?
That we must listen to the people. That was my
So
position.
why didn't the government listen to the people?
Sam, I've pronounced myself on that matter.
Please give me an answer, Deputy President. Why didn't the government listen to the people?
But we listened to the people. We shared the finance bill. But already too much damage had already occasioned, and that was the gist of my statement.
So why did it have to keep that?
That is the question I was asking. Do we have to wait for things to get to this magnitude for us to act? That's what I was asking then.
Before that time, did you try to propose the voice of reason to those that...
I always do.
And
quite a number of people are comfortable with me for always speaking the truth and saying that we need to listen to the people.
And what happened if you raised those issues?
Well, I cannot give you details of what happens in cabinet. Cabinet meetings are top secret, and I am bound by...
I'm not talking about cabinet meetings.
No, those forums, my opinions, are given in cabinet. I cannot divulge to you what my opinions were, because I will be in breach of the oath of secrecy.
You know, you told me that you're accountable to the people of Kenya, and if anyone has a problem with you, they should actually consult the people of Kenya if they're disappointed with you. But you're here, I'm asking you a question about your role in making sure that what happened on June 25th didn't happen, but you won't explain.
But I have explained to you,
it.
I was very clear, I pronounced myself on the matter, that we need to listen to the people more. What more do you want me to tell you? That is my stand.
I'm asking what happened that, who was not listening? That's what I'm asking.
I've told you, Sam, I have said we need to listen to people all the time.
And if you made that counsel to whoever, who is that didn't listen to you?
Well, I don't want to apportion blame. I made my pronouncement that it is good as people's employees who we are, we must continuously listen to the employer, the people of Kenya.
For the first time, people died at the entrance of Parliament. When that happened, you were the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. What responsibility do you take?
I pronounce myself on the matter.
Please give me an answer.
No, what answer do you want me to give you? I said what I thought about the matter. The answer is in my statement.
And you're here. That was June.
No, but I'm saying the statement
it is
there.
okay to repeat it.
No. Why do you want me to repeat it?
Because I'm asking the question.
You have it in your archives. My answer to what happened is in my statement.
Why don't you want to talk about this?
But I said where the blame lies. The statement is there. Why do you want me to go into it? I said. I have not recanted that statement. I still stand by it. So go and look at the statement.
Why don't you want to talk about this?
I don't want to go into it.
Because?
Because I don't think it is necessary. Because my statement was very explicit.
Over 60 families are still waiting.
But my statement was very explicit.
For answers.
I made myself
no action has been taken against any police officer. Are you bothered by that?
You know whom you need to ask that question.
I'm asking
who is supposed to take the action?
Sorry?
Who is supposed to take the action?
You tell me.
You know.
Who?
What are you saying? What do you want me to tell you? You know I'm the Deputy President.
Exactly.
You know who is supposed to take action against police officers. Go and ask them that question.
Who?
You know.
I wish you could tell me the answer.
No, I'm not. Why do you want me to help you to do your research?
I don't want you to help me, just respond. Kenyans, it's not about
I am not going to
Kenyans are watching.
Kenya, you know, you tell the Kenyans, you know. Go and look for that person and ask that question. That is not my question. I am not in charge of that docket. So I cannot answer a question that doesn't belong to me.
So you say we should go to the Interior Ministry?
I don't know. If you think that's where you need to go, proceed.
Now, Deputy President, there are those that accuse you that you have been given duties in the Constitution and the Executive Order number 2 of 2023, but you have not been very successful in delivering. Talking about illicit brew, questions of coffee, tea and milk. You made promises.
Some. I was given many duties. One of them is to chair cabinet committees. I've chaired 35 cabinet committees and successfully prosecuted 333 agenda items to the cabinet. If anybody wants to call that underperformance, then my English fails me. Number two, I'm in charge of intergovernmental relations. Since I became the deputy president, I've created the most conducive environment ever between the two levels of government. Before we came to office, the county governments and the national government were at war. And through good leadership, through bringing people together, I was able to put our county commissioners together with our governors and tell them that we serve the same people. I have successfully held IBEC meetings. We have discussed the division of revenue bill, and the devolution agenda is ongoing. That is Rigathi Gachagua who has done that. Rigathi Gachagua is in charge of international development partnerships. I have chaired the Development Partners Forum. I've held meetings with our development partners. I have made all the necessary interventions between the National Treasury, the Attorney General's Office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to unlock billions of dollars that were held because of bureaucracy, because there was no liaison between the development partners and the national government. I am in charge of constitutional commissions and independent offices. I have held meetings with constitutional commissions and independent offices, the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, the Inspector General of Police. For the record, there was a very big dispute between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service. Through my office, I mediated and solved the problems. They used to exchange insults in the press. You have not seen that anymore. That is work that I did. I have successfully mediated differences between the Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission.